Splat, and this is my initial assessment presentation of Alvin. In this presentation, I'll share who Alvin is as a person and also as a learner, his reading and writing strengths and goals, and how I planned instruction around these needs. Let's start with who Alvin is. Alvin is a bright and imaginative student. He loves playing video games, especially Roblox, and enjoys playing with his sister. He's also a big fan of the movies Sonic 3 and the Smurfs movie. One of the first things I noticed about him was his positive attitude. When he doesn't know how to answer something or a question, he'll always try to figure it out. And he's also very curious and gives very creative answers during our discussion and our games. As a learner, Alvin is strong with both numbers and words. He prefers listening to books through headphones, which keeps him more engaged than reading books off the page. He also knows a lot about space and of the planets, which shows that he has a strong memory for the things that he is interested in. His initial reading score was 2B, which is right around the end of first grade, which makes sense because he's starting second grade. Alvin is a confident, out loud reader and can write decently well, but he doesn't seem to enjoy literacy tasks. He tends to rush through his reading and writing just to get through it. To increase his engagement, I wanted to make reading and writing more personable and more personally relevant to him. For example, I want to let him write about his games or do some creative walkthroughs of Roblox stories, for example, and this can make literacy feel more fun and more purposeful for him. Some of the teaching points that I created were building short stories based on his interests and setting clear and manageable writing goals. The overall goal for Alvin is to express his ideas more fully, writing longer pieces and finding enjoyment and pride in his work. Alvin's first reading goal is focused on fluency. He's strong with sight words and reads full sentences pretty smoothly. However, he gets pretty tired and makes long pauses in between pages. His voice is clear and expressive, and he'll even restart a sentence if he doesn't think that it sounds fluent to start with, which is very good self-awareness skills. But when he hits an unfamiliar word, his volume drops and his pacing slows down, and he'll also take long pauses at the end of each page, like I said before. To help with this, I want to introduce a stamina goal for him. An example of this could be starting with reading 2 pages at a time with a short 5-second break in between, and then gradually increasing that to maybe 10 pages over time to even a full chapter near the end of the year without stopping. The 2 main strategies I thought to use for this was the sentence push and repeated or familiar readings, and these are to help him become more confident and consistent with longer passages. The second reading goal that I plan to focus on is comprehension and summarizing. And so when reading aloud, Alvin could identify the main character, but often struggled to remember their name and also the main events of the story. He struggled to recall supporting details and sequencing of the story too. But he's a great listener, and he tries to answer questions and remembers details once they're explained to him. My teaching points for this are sequencing words like first, then, after that, and finally. And also I want to introduce BME charts, which are beginning, middle, end charts, and this can help him visualize a story and also visualize the main points as well. The goal for Alvin is to retell a story accurately, naming the characters and describing what happened in order. So next is Alvin's writing summary. His ideas were clear in his head, but his writing tends to be pretty short, repetitive, and sometimes off topic. There isn't always a clear beginning or end of what he's talking about. However, he does use punctuation correctly most of the time, and he always tries to spell unfamiliar words on his own, which shows good persistence. So here are our 6+1 writing traits, and here is what Alvin scored. These scores shows that while his ideas are creative, he needs more help organizing his sentence variety. The first writing goal that I want to focus on is organization. Alvin has great ideas but struggles to connect them logically. So, to help, I plan to use webbing and BME structures to help or structure activities so he can plan before he starts writing. And the goal for him is to organize his thoughts early, which creates a clear sequence of his ideas, and it flows naturally from the start to the end. The second goal I want to work on is sentence fluency. Alvin's writing sounded pretty choppy because he started every sentence the exact same way. The goal for him is to write short paragraphs with a mix of different sentence types, and that would make it sound more smooth when read aloud. So here's the planning slide, and this lays out some texts and some lesson plans to work on each. And I won't be going over this slide, but the two books that I chose were If You Give a Mouse a Cookie and The Fort, which give specific strategy and also come with specific strategies to use to help reach the goals. Finally, my reflection of the first half of the semester so far. The biggest takeaway from this experience, I feel like, was realizing how much detail goes into um, understanding a single student's literacy development. It's not enough to just know their reading level, but you have to look into how they think and how they feel, and also how they respond to different challenges while they're reading and in the readings as well. Another thing is that reading or running records help me see how fluency connects with comprehension and motivation. I also learned how assessments like this can guide grouping, partnership, and one on one instruction in my own classrooms in the future. And overall, this process made me more confident in using data to design individualized learning goals. And working with Alvin reminded me that growth happens when students feel supported and understood, and also and uh, they can see themselves in what they're reading, writing, or even playing. In Alvin's example, when he plays Roblox. Thank you.